Hey, what's up all you fishing addicts out there? Thanks so much for tuning into another Addicted Fishing tutorial. Today, we're gonna be talking about the old trout magnet. But before we do that, if you're brand new to our channel, be sure to go down and tap that little green button and subscribe. You're gonna find all sorts of educational content like we're out here doing today, but you're also gonna find some entertaining, cool stuff where we're traveling around the world and we're bringing you along on our journey, catching different fish. So if you love fishing, subscribe. Now coming up next, we're gonna teach you how to fish the old trout magnet. All right, so starting out with the rod, just like we do with all of our tutorials, we like an ultralight rod. We like to have just a light, fun setup for catching these fish. A lot of them aren't very big, so it's nice to be able to feel like you got a big fish on by using an ultralight. So this is an Okuma Guide Select Pro 2 to 6 pound paired with an Okuma 30S RTX reel. Now, you don't need an Okuma, we just love Okuma fishing tackle, but anything that's in that ultralight setup, anything that's in that 2 to 6 pound, 6 to 7 foot range is gonna be perfect for this type of fishing. We're gonna put a braided line on here. We always use braid just because it has more sensitivity. And then for this application, the braid will float on top of the water. So it's really gonna help you as you're fishing these trout magnets, especially in these creeks, because the braid will help your line float. So I highly recommend a braided line for sure. Then what we've done is we've taken some 6 pound P-line fluoro clear, and we have used a double uni knot. And we've showed this in our setups, a ton of different videos, all these other videos that we've done. So if you guys want to see a more detailed, like how to tie that knot, make sure you check a bunch of our other videos, and I'll put a link down below at some of the ones where we talked about the double uni knot so you guys can learn how to tie that. But any sort of knot that will take your braided line and be able to attach a mono or a fluorocarbon bumper is gonna work. So the blood knot, the crazy Alberto knot, the double uni knot, any of those knots will work. So if you know any of those, feel free to use any of them. Just try to keep that knot small so it can go through your eyes easily. So when you're fishing in these creeks and rivers or wherever you may be, you're gonna judge how much leader you need based on how deep you're fishing. So this hole right here that we're fishing is gonna be super shallow, comes down and goes into a little bit of a deeper hole, maybe 3 to 4 foot deep. So I didn't put very much bumper on here. I got maybe an arm's length. So that's gonna work for you, but you're gonna wanna adjust that based on whatever depth you're fishing. So everyone knows about the old trusty red and white bobber that we've all used for years. This bobber that's made by Phil is very similar. The difference is it comes weighted. Now I really like this style of float because it lets me cast a little bit further, and then it also, I feel like it's fishing my presentations better. It's the same theory as our addicted fishing float that we put out with Mustad. It helps, help keep your lure or your setup fishing properly. So it's gonna keep that float straight up and down. It's gonna keep that bait straight up and down, so it's more natural as it moves through the current. So that's why I really like these weighted floats. But the cool thing is they work just like they do on those red and white bobbers. So they have a metal wire here and then a metal wire on the bottom. So you want to angle that weight obviously down towards the bottom. So we're going to take that here, and what you do, put your thumb on that bottom one and then push up. You can see it exposes that little piece of wire, and then you're going to put your line, you're going to put your line through that wire just like so. So you can see it's got that line now. And then what you do, same thing. So you're gonna take it, get it to kind of where you think you're gonna be fishing at first, and then just run that line down the side here, and you're gonna do that same thing on this bottom, but now you're gonna wanna put your finger on that top metal piece so your line doesn't come out there. So you're gonna come down here, keeping your finger on that top metal piece, you're gonna push that in, and you're gonna wrap that in there just like so. Boom. So now you're ready to fish. And what you're gonna do here is, if you ever need to adjust it, that's what I like about these. Just quickly, push your finger on the metal, take that bottom one off. I think I'm a little too deep right now, so I'm gonna go ahead and adjust it down. And then same thing, you're gonna grab that bobber again, you're gonna push up on it, wrap that through, and now you're fishing. All right, so it's funny, on the package it says trout magnet, the secret's out. And this is a 1/64 ounce. And so if you read the back of the instructions, basically what it tells you is this lure is fish, it's like a bug. It's like a bug floating down the river. So, but they want you to put action on it. So you're either gonna use the current to kind of, you know, move that lure down the river, or you're gonna kind of twitch your rod a little bit so that little trout magnet is kind of bouncing a little bit as it goes down river. So let's pull it out of here real quick and show you what it looks like. And I'll put some links down below in the description, so if you guys want to purchase some of these trout magnets, you can. You can get all sorts of colors and sizes and stuff on Amazon, but you can see it's got the instructions on the back here. And then of course their website and everything on the front. So pull these out here. So when you open this package up, it looks like it comes with a few different trout magnets and then a couple little jig heads, and they're 64th ounce, so they're small. They don't have any scent to them. They're just like a rubber scent. And then what they are is they're like a little piece of, you know, they have this little split tail on here. And I think that's what's deadly, is it's like a little grub or who knows, but that, you know, I'm assuming that tail's kind of moving through the water as it floats down, and the fish just can't resist it. So the way they're rigged here, like I said, it's using a 64th ounce jig head. So basically we're gonna take this off just so we can show, actually it looks like there's another one in here. So we'll use, in the package it came with an extra jig head, just in case you lose one, and then some more magnets. It's funny, they called it the trout magnet. How many of you guys out there have fished these lures before? Have you guys used these before? Have you seen success? I've used them a bunch and they're deadly. Basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna take that magnet, we're gonna put that head, the tip of the hook, filtering it on through there, and then we're gonna pop that hook out the end, like so, up onto the jig head. And that's what it's gonna look like when it's all said and done. And you're gonna take your fluorocarbon here, you're gonna put that trout magnet on through there, like so. And I just use my standard fisherman's knot here, 7 or 8 wraps. I am using a fluorocarbon line, so you're gonna wanna make sure you wet that. You don't want it to burn on itself, which fluorocarbon has a tendency to do. Snug that thing down there. Take your trusty Gerber scissors, get that tag in. Make sure you cut that into your box so it doesn't go into the ecosystem. Throw it away later. And then that's what you got. You got your float, and you got your trout magnet. So that's the other reason I went with a weighted float. I'm using a super small trout magnet, and I did that on purpose, knowing that some of the fish in this creek are small. So I'm going after just little guys, little fish. So hopefully it'll be a lot of fun hooking them on these little bobbers like this. So let's cast it out there and see what she looks like. Okay, so this run right here, you have a nice, Sean, if you want to show them up there, you got a nice little riffle that comes down in, and then what happens is the water comes down, it hits this wall right here, and it forms a nice, deep, slow run. And I actually keep seeing fish roll kind of right in the center of the bucket. So I'm just gonna roll this right down the center and see what happens here. So you want to cast it out there and let your setup sink, and then you're going to let that current take it down. And you can see how that float, even though I'm using a 1/64th ounce, that float is actually floating pretty nice. You know, it's pretty straight up and down, and the way it's shaped, if a fish grabs it, it's going to suck right under. We're just going to basically, you're going to let the current do its thing here. You're going to let the current take that thing down, and hope that a little trout bites onto it and grabs it. This is some pretty slow moving current. So you know, you can see they told you on the package to kind of give it some jigs. So you can give it a couple little twitches to kind of make the magnet do a little bit better action there. Oh, see that one roll down there, Sean? Hopefully they grab our trout magnet. So as the float is going down river, you're gonna see how I keep just letting line out. Just keep letting that thing freaking do its thing and float down the river. Hopefully entice a fish bite. We're gonna keep letting it go just to see. Make sure there ain't nothing hanging down there in that tail out. Okay, so they didn't bite. They didn't want it. Why not, Sean? Oh, see that, Sean? Oh, come on, you sucker. Eat it. Oh, I missed him! No! So they do want it. They definitely want to bite it. Just got to try to get them going again. So as you guys can see, as I've been fishing this, I'll pull that bobber and kind of drag it back upriver. What I'm doing is I'm trying to get that trout magnet to come up and rise and fall. Let's run one right along this rock here. You can see, just let that current take it down. All right, guys, they ain't having it. Let's try up in that riffle. Let's deepen this guy. All right, guys, we're gonna try. So again, if you wanna deepen these out, we're gonna just take that bottom one off. We're gonna go a little deeper in this hole here. Let's go over there where that one rolled. There he is. Got him. Got him, Sean. The magnet couldn't handle it. It was all just about that right hook, that right casting placement. You know, what I was noticing is that as I was getting down into that zone where that fish was jumping, there wasn't enough action on that magnet for him to want to take it. What do we got here, Sean? Looks like a beautiful little cutty. Oh yeah, look at that. Pretty little cutthroat. Look at that fish, Sean. With that magnet just right planted in his face. Look at that. That's a freaking beauty. That's... Sorry, guy. Come on, let me get you. You can see that magnet just right in his freaking mouth. Pretty little fish. We're not going to hold on to him too long here, Sean. Look at that, guys. Beautiful little wild cutthroat. What a nice fish. All right, little buddy. See you later. And he's gone. We got one. So a lot of this, guys, you can see I did two things there. I adjusted my depth to make that get a little bit better of a sink. And then it was just the right cast placement. I kept seeing that fish come up right there and eat stuff, so I knew there was a fish in there. I just needed to get to where he was at. Let's see if there's any more. There he is. Oh, I missed him. Oh, they're in there thick, Sean. Oh. Took my freaking magnet down. Dang, he was freaking running with it. How'd I miss him? Try again. Yeah, one rolled way down there. See that? Let's see if we can get our float. That's it. The really cool advantage of float fishing, guys, is you can let, now we just saw, oh, another one rolled down there. We've seen two fish roll down in that tail out now. So we're gonna let that float kind of sink past those fish. And then what I can do is I can reel it up and hopefully let that trout magnet fall. That'll get that action that they want. Let's see if it happens. Let's see if it happens, Sean. It's in their wheelhouse right now. I think I'm on bottom right there. All right, everyone, so there you have it. That's the trout magnet. Just like they said on the package, the secret's out. It really is deadly effective, especially if you put this in a target-rich environment where there's lots of trout hanging around. They just can't resist it. It's just like a little grub or something, you know, imitating some sort of little bug that they eat in their natural life as it is. So make sure you guys get to the store or get to Amazon and purchase yourself up some trout magnets because they'll help you be more successful. Thanks again for watching our tutorials, and all you subscribers, thanks so much for watching. We appreciate it. If you do not have that bell turned on, turn on that little bell notification. Keep up to date on all these new videos that we're putting out. We appreciate every single one of you, and we'll see you on the river.